who would have voted for Joe Jorgensen, because they would have said, well, I don't think she's going to win, but this is the only way I can nationally tell the people in charge, put my name in a column that says I am against all of this shit you're doing. And that goes to my governor, and it also goes to Trump, who's pretending he wants to open things up, while at the same time Fauci's out there telling us you can't have Christmas. And then Trump, we talked about this before, where Trump just stands there and goes, this Fauci guy, what an idiot, as though he's not his boss. And they chose not to do it. I don't know if she even talked about it. I don't know. I would not be surprised if she had some fucking idiot opinion like, we just need to do the lockdowns voluntarily. We could do this better without force. Some fucking stupid thing like that just makes everybody go, oh, so you don't have anything to say. I don't know what her positions were. I don't know. And then she just whines, oh, I'm not in the debates. Okay, yeah, you're not in the debates. Figure something out. You got to figure something out. Fucking Ron Paul people had blimps going around saying, who is Ron Paul? And fucking signs. There's people out there just going, we got to figure something out. We got to get people. She had Twitter. She had YouTube. She could have gone out every day and done something provocative that would have got people talking.
No, we only had one fucking photograph of the woman.
I know. The idea that fucking, do you have any chance?
It's the same picture every time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she even exists.
I remember even at like the day after the LP's like convention when she won it, and suddenly like the word went out, like, all right, Joe Jorgensen, and everybody was like, sorry, let's make some memes of her, I guess. And there's like, I noticed you guys using like the same face. Are there any other photographs of her you want to use? No? Okay.
Only one photo in existence.
Next, media news. So Fox News has seemingly abandoned Trump. Tucker Carlson is like the only one willing to like talk about the potential of voter fraud. Everyone else has.
And even he's not talking about it. He did a segment on the show. I saw on YouTube, they said, they recommended me a segment from his show. It was 1.5 minutes long. And it said, like, this is what makes America a wonderful place or something, right? And it was literally him talking, like a 2-minute monologue, where they showed clips, like B-roll, of America's national parks and, like, you know, its streams and rivers and lakes and stuff. And he just gave this little positive message about how, like, things are bad and everyone's upset, but we have to remember, like, this is a great place to live. And, like, we have these beautiful scenery and this great, wonderful, open country, and go out there and enjoy it and go fly fishing and stuff. And all I could think is, like, no fucking wonder people are turning this shit off if they think they're at home thinking that election was stolen, which would be the biggest story in the history of stories. And they turn on Fox News and they go, this is their news guy. And they turn on Tucker, who's their guy to tell them what to think. And he goes, oh man, what a great country we live in. We got these streams, you know, and we got the Purple Mountains majesty. Go out there and take a look at those purple mountains and just forget about your troubles and don't ask questions. Just go look at the mountains. It could not feel more like it was there to diffuse people's anger than that. Than to go, I'm not going to talk to you about this shit that you're worried about. I'm just going to tell you, go take a walk and relax and don't ask questions. Put your phone down.
There was in an episode of, I don't know who all of these people's names are. I'll just post a link to it, where Trump's press secretary was talking about, like, the idea that Democrats stole the election, and she was like 10 seconds into it, and the host of the show on Fox, like, cut away. It's like, oh, she's talking about this voter fraud thing, and I'm responsible to show you her talking about it unless she has any kind of proof.
Yeah, it was Cavuto. Well, he just cut her out.
Yeah, it was Cavuto. Just cut her off in the show.
Here's the thing.
And so I'm seeing Republicans are trying to arrange an exodus away from all their old things. Like, we're not using Facebook anymore. We're using Parler. We're not watching Fox. We're watching Newsmax now. Whereas, like, I'm pretty sure Parler is run by, like, feds. Same way Instagram. Well, Instagram is owned by Facebook, but also Telegram, rather, is also owned by Facebook, I'm pretty sure. Right? They think it's like, no one's ever gotten, like, entrapped for bullshit on Telegram.
Doesn't matter even if it's not. This will just happen again. You go to Parler gets big, and then once it gets big, it becomes just another company, which is the same. And then there's people on Twitter saying Parler should really not be allowing this or that, the other thing, and then they bow to the pressure too. And what's the point?
Yeah,
Listen, on the run.
Ask yourself. Anybody who uses Telegram in particular should ask themselves why it is that fucking ISIS used to be able to recruit freely on Telegram. You are safer on Instagram as an Islamic terrorist than you are as an alleged white supremacist. And you're conservative, like, I'm going to move to Parler. This is very unlibertarian, but you need the state for this.
Can I just say, was that wasn't an interview, right? That was a press conference?
It was a press conference, yeah.
And he said, like, we're not going to run this. We're going to cut away from it.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though, right? So let's say that the president of the United States has their what's it called? Press secretary, their spokesperson, is on TV right now making up baseless, provable lies about the election being stolen purely so that they can try to fucking steal it back themselves, right? That's news. That's big news, right? That's fucking big news. You go, holy shit, this lady's making up this fucking thing. So you run it, and you say, then maybe after she's done talking, you go, holy shit, she just lied through her teeth. All that was made up. Here's how we can prove it was made up. That was totally a lie. And then for the next 2 hours, all your news is about how press secretary tells this massive lie and is peddling this conspiracy theory. You don't just say, well, the president is lying, so we're not going to tell you what he's saying. This is like what they did with Osama bin Laden. When Osama bin Laden was, saying, here are the reasons why we attacked you on 9/11, and they would go, whoa. No, you don't have to listen to him because he's a terrorist. Okay, isn't it news when the fucking head terrorist issues a statement? Isn't that news even if he's a bad guy? Even if his statement is false? Yeah. You don't just say it's
the New York Times ran Kaczynski's manifesto.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But it only backfires because then it makes them look crazy.
All right, come on, Tony. We're in the end game now. So Glenn Greenwald has resigned from the Intercept. Glenn Greenwald, for those of you who don't know, his big claim to fame was that when Edward Snowden leaked all his stuff, it was given to him. And he ran it. I think he was working for The Guardian at the time, but then he started The Intercept because, that boosted his credibility as a sort of,
independent,
lefty alternative, independent news person. And he started with like 5 other people, and they were all on the left, and he knew they were on the left. And, Glenn Greenwald is not at all a conservative, but then he was running an article actually on Hunter Biden and like Joe Biden's corruption. And even though as a founder of the magazine, Glenn Greenwald has complete editorial freedom in his contract, the editors refused to run his story unless he removed all aspects of the story related to being negative about Joe Biden specifically.
Yep.
And so he tendered his resignation. There's really actually, I just want people to know this. If you just look up Glenn Greenwald resigns from Intercept, you can get more details on this. I don't really have much analysis here for it, except just, wow, man, it's kind of crazy. First they came for the conservatives. I didn't speak for the, Glenn Greenwald finally came for him.
Yeah, well, it's not really surprising. Yeah, so like he should have known.
I mean, Glenn's been on Tucker for a while.
When you said, he started the Journal with these 5 other leftists, yeah, that was his first mistake. You know that they're eventually all going to give to the party line. That's what these people do. It's the same thing as those people with the purple hair saying, I can't wait to hold Joe Biden accountable. Oh, can't you? As soon as they all just fucking rally and they circle the wagons to protect the guy because that's what they do. They're fundamentally team people. They're party men. Their thing is, the thing that they like that makes them feel comfortable is when somebody tells them, here's the line, here's the party line, here's what you have to say and think. They like that. It makes them feel comfortable. If you read Solzhenitsyn, the Gulag Archipelago, he said that for most of the dissident non-Stalinist left, their biggest punishment was not being put in gulags, it was being kicked out of the Communist Party. That was the thing that they would be like, no, don't do that to me, please. Because outside of the party, I'm nothing. Inside of the party, I am this huge thing. I am the state, I'm the party, I'm this group. And they were so terrified of that a lot of them became Stalinists, even though they weren't Stalinists. Because they were like, well, what are my options? Not be in the Communist Party? Are you fucking kidding? What am I going to do? I must be dead. But if I'm in the party, then later I can make things better. Whereas if I'm not in the party, I can't help. So then they just fucking line people up in pits and shoot them. And they do it with a clean conscience because they know that this is all for better good.
The greats are good. And then you can finish up, you can close out the show too, because I'm too tired. I can't. Like, I vamped up and then I've lost all we're gonna get to this. Will just be the special election episode, and then
Kind of
all the
is,
other
yeah.
shit I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
If it's still news in a week and a half, we can do it then. But so Barack Obama has emerged, and he's been giving right on cue. He's here to help because he's noticing people are not accepting the narrative, so we got to trot him out to try to convince us. Because there's this myth that people love him and they believe him and they listen to him. I've never met any of these people, but supposedly they're out there and they trust him and they love him. And I guess so, because when they brought him out to do 2 Biden events a week before the election, he was so successful that more people voted for Biden than even voted for him. That's how. So Barack Obama came out and he was being interviewed by the Atlantic, he just did a CNN hour, and he's going all over the place doing interviews. And Vox shares this story that Obama he announced do you know what our biggest threat to our democracy is? Marcel, can you take a guess what the biggest threat to our democracy is?
Fake news. This is what it was before.
It's the internet. So first I saw the CNN clip it was something like what Trump's 70+ million votes says to Obama.
Oh,
right?
Fuck. Speaking of, Biden packed a whole bunch of neocons onto his transition team. I just remembered that. All right, anyway, continue.
So I saw that. I go, oh, what? As much as I know it's going to be, I knew what it was going to be, right? But I said, I had this little shred of hope, right? Which is always a mistake. I said, maybe when I click on this, and then it says, Barack Obama explains what it means to him that 70+ million people voted for Trump. Maybe he's going to have this little bit of empathy and compassion. He's going to say, what it shows me is that we're not doing a good job, of messaging to people. Or what it shows me is that, there's a lot of people out there who feel left behind, or there's a lot of people out there that just are not on board with our goals or whatever. And we have to, learn something. No, he said, what this shows me is that Fox News is out there brainwashing people. That was the end of it. I guess the unstated conclusion was we have to brainwash these people or get rid of them or do something. That was one of his gems. And another one was this that Vox reports, where he says, now you have a situation in which large swaths of the country genuinely believe that the Democratic Party is a front for a pedophile ring. I was talking to a volunteer who was going door to door in Philadelphia in low-income African-American communities and was getting questions about QAnon conspiracy theories. I think it is the single biggest threat to our democracy. I don't hold the tech companies entirely responsible.
This is a serious threat to our democracy.
Because
this is a serious threat to our democracy.
But social media has turbocharged it. I know most of these folks. I've talked to them about it. The degree to which these companies are insisting that they are more like a phone company than they are like the Atlantic, I do not think is tenable. They are making editorial choices, whether they've buried them in algorithms or not. The First Amendment doesn't require private companies to provide a platform for any view that is out there. At the end of the day, we're going to have to find a combination of government regulations and corporate practices that address this, because it's going to get worse. If you can perpetuate crazy lies and conspiracy theories just with texts, imagine what you can do when you can make it look like you or me saying anything on video. If we do not have the capacity to distinguish what's true from what's false, then by definition, the marketplace of ideas doesn't work. And by definition, our democracy doesn't work. So in other words, you boil that down, and what you're left with is the biggest threat to our democracy is that too many people are not getting their news from approved sources, and they're believing things that I don't want them to believe. So we have to censor those things so that the people will only get the official narrative.
True. I'm with Barack Obama. I do think that the greatest problem with society is that people watch CNN, they don't read Mises Institute stuff. That's right.
So that's the world that he lives in. He lives in the world where, obviously they trot out this QAnon psyop thing to tar everything with that. So everything's QAnon. Everything. If you ask a question about the election, you go, hey, isn't it weird do you really think Joe Biden, it's plausible that he got more votes than any guy who's ever run for president in history when he didn't campaign? Like, he didn't go out and do campaign events? And they go, oh, QAnon. And then you go, do you think it's odd that the longest serving Republican Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, was convicted as a convicted pedophile, and he did like 3 months in jail, and nobody else was ever linked to him on that? And that those leaked Hillary Clinton emails mentioned that John Podesta was still in regular contact with him on some level, at least business contacts? Come on, QAnon, QAnon.